Okay, happy Tuesday, everybody. All right, so I am improvising tonight with lighting and the space. So I was hoping to do this outside, but the rain is imminent, I think. And so we are here in the cabin bedroom, which is tight and dark. So hopefully you can see and hear me okay. All right, so let's dig into what is our BOGO box class. So we'll cover the basics as we always do. So safety first, we're going to cover the purity and the efficacy and quality testing of our essential oils. We're going to talk a little bit about how we can use our oils generically, and then we'll dig into the BOGO box and talk about what came in the BOGO box and how we would best maybe use some of those oils. Okay, so what essential oils are and what they're not. Essential oils are an aromatic compound, so not in the traditional sense of like an olive oil or coconut oil or something which is usually the press of a seed, which tends to be quite, say, greasy or oily in texture. Essential oils are actually quite light and water-like, most of them anyway. There's some that are a little bit thicker, but most of them are quite water-like. And as I said, they're an aromatic compound, so they actually evaporate quite quickly. And so you won't find that they are greasy to the touch. And the aromatic compound means that there are very small molecules, which is part of the way that they absorb into our bodies and our bodies use them so efficiently. So that's kind of a quick run through. They also come from different parts of the plant. So you might get essential oils from the root, the stem, the bark, the leaf, or some combination thereof, depending what it is you're trying to achieve. So we understand the science behind the essential oils and what parts of the plant yield what sort of chemical constituents, and then depending what we want that oil to do, we'll harvest it that way. Also the distillation process matters as well, because you can take the same plant material and distill it in two different ways, and you'll come up with different chemical constituents in that, final product. So again, depending if it's been exposed to heat or cold, and that kind of thing. So for example, some of our citrus oils are a cold press of the rind, where most of the other oils could, are a distillation, a steam distillation. So completely different process depending what we're trying to actually achieve. So our oils, we always talk about the safety and effectiveness of the oils, and doTERRA oils are 100% safe and natural. So we're talking pure plant material in the bottle, nothing synthetic, nothing compromised in either the harvesting, the distillation, and the bottling process. And we know that through the number of tests that are done along that sort of life cycle. So many different quality tests done at each point in that process. When we talk about the effectiveness of our oils as well, we look at the potency. So I talked about it being an aromatic compound, which, those super tiny molecules actually absorb through our bloodstream and into our body. Even in inhalation, you're getting those tiny molecules in through the olfactory system, and you're absorbing that again into your body really rapidly. It also is, I said, really concentrated. So to the extent that if you looked at, say, peppermint, and 1 drop of peppermint essential oil being equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So that gives you an idea about the concentration and the effectiveness. So something like a peppermint would be really great for, say, digestion, and typically people might have a cup of tea, peppermint tea after dinner, to aid in the digestion. You can achieve the same thing with this drop of peppermint in some warm water. And instead it's really lovely that way. Okay, so more effective and safe than other options as well. And when we look at using our essential oils, they're really designed to create a sense of homeostasis, a sense of balance in the body. So taking your essential oils is never going to sort of throw one system off, swinging the pendulum too far to one side or the other. Your body will take on what it needs and release the rest. And what's beautiful about that is you're also not susceptible to addiction and side effects as we can be with traditional over-the-counter sort of prescriptions and medicines that we might use for sort of these everyday ailments, right? So that's really important. Also less expensive. And as we talk about some of the oils, you'll see there's so many different applications for something I said as simple as, say, peppermint. And I use peppermint in 100 different ways, but I've only then bought one bottle of peppermint. And instead of having several products and having, you know, certain products for digestion and certain products for, you know, the cooling sensation that you can get from peppermint, you know, as an after sun spray and all of the things you can do with peppermint, I don't have multiple products. I have one single plant sourced product that then I can use in several different ways. And so economically, it just makes sense. And you have this amazing toolkit at your disposal by just having a few essential oils. So the 3 ways we use our oils is aromatically, topically, and internally. So if we start with the aromatic, that is probably the one place that most people will start. They'll use a diffuser, for example. So it's a small electric device that you would put a little bit of water, drop a few bits of oil, and then plug it in, and it diffuses the oils into the air. You can also simply just take a couple drops of oil in your hand, rub them together, and do this wonderful inhalation. And again, those molecules are so welcomed by the body, right? So just in through the olfactory system, right, you know, the closest thing to your brain. So if you are looking to increase your mood, enhance confidence, enhance, I said, you know, just emotional well-being, having a quick inhalation of your oils can do wonders, because it's actually, you know, immediately getting to the area in your body that's controlling your emotions, right? So it has this wonderful effect. And you could use something invigorating like wild orange, certainly cheer. When we talk about cheer, this is a really uplifting blend. So there's all kinds of different ways we use them aromatically. Breathe, which is one of the respiratory blend. Again, really great for opening airways. If you have any sort of sinus congestion, trouble, you know, difficulty breathing, you know, from snoring or things like that when you're laying down, it does a really amazing job at opening up sort of those airways. So that's the aromatic option. Topically is another really common way people get started with oils. And topically can be something simple like a roller ball, and you just rub it on, you know, back of your neck, your trigger points, your wrists, anywhere that you would want to use it. Now that would be if you're trying to wear it as say a perfume, enhance mood. If you have something, say you have muscle and say knee pain, you may topically apply deep blue, which we'll talk about, or some turmeric, or a combination of the two, directly onto the place of concern. So we can do that again. When we do apply oils topically, and we'll always want to dilute with something like a carrier oil. So this is our fractionated coconut oil. And when you use something like that, and topically, so why we use topical application is because, for a few reasons. One, I discussed the fact that the essential oils are an aromatic compound, so they're going to evaporate quickly. The carrier oil actually helps carry the oil into the skin, so there's that better absorption. As well, some of the oils can be quite spicy or hot to the skin, something like oregano and cinnamon. Again, your spice oils can make the skin a little bit more sensitive, so we would always dilute, and especially when you're using your oils for, say, children or the elderly, people who have any sort of skin sensitivity, always using a dilution. And again, that could be like a quarter size of the carrier oil and 1 to 2 drops of your oil. Less is always more, so please, you know, you're better to add 2 drops to an area of concern or apply something topically, again, like as a perfume, and reapply later than to overdo it. And that goes true as well with using them aromatically in a diffuser. So if you have essential oils, and they wouldn't be doTERRA oils that say this, but if it said add 10 to 15 drops or something like that to a diffuser, it's because the concentration or the purity of that oil is not true. So it takes a lot of the oil to actually create an effect. and which at that point it was probably only creating an aroma as opposed to having any sort of, you know, mood enhancing abilities. So most of these will tell you to do 1 to 2 drops. And if we're trying to create diffuser blends, you might then do 1 drop of one oil, 2 drops of another, and maybe a third oil, again, another drop, but a max of between 4 to 6 drops in that diffuser. You certainly wouldn't be using 10 to 15 drops. That would actually just be wasteful because they're gonna, you know, burn off quite quickly and diffuse quickly, and then you've lost the effect. So a few, you know, less is more. Add a few drops, let it run for a couple hours, turn it off, and again, you can put it on again later. That aroma will be still in the room, you just might not smell it because you've been in it. But if you go outside and you come back in, the home will smell lovely and fresh. So when we're looking at the topical use, we're looking at dilution. So internal use. So this is one of the applications that is not as common, and there are sort of, you know, 2 camps. People feel that internal use of essential oils is not safe, and if that's the case, it's generally because they've not been using pure essential oils, and that's very common because people will attend a class similar to this and say, oh, I've heard that you can put, you know, wild orange essential oil in your water, and they try it with a oil that they've purchased Walmart or the, you know, health food store or something without knowing much about what's actually in that bottle. It is an unregulated industry, which means that anybody can produce essential oils and anybody can bottle it and tell you it is 100% pure lavender when it could be 5% lavender. Unfortunately, that's just where we're at. But it is excellent to know your products. So if you aren't using doTERRA and you're using something else, just do your research. Know what you're using, and essential oils are actually super beneficial to be taken internally, and I've been doing it for years. So very confident that that they, again, work synergistically with our body. And again, so I would actually in the morning put a couple drops of a citrus oil. So we have so many beautiful citrus oils: lime, grapefruit, green mandarin, lemon, wild orange, tangerine, clementine, so many of them. Any of those, a couple drops in the morning in a large glass of water is really great and really cleansing for your system. Also just nice and refreshing. So if in the middle of the afternoon you feel like you need a snack, half the time when you think you're hungry, you're actually thirsty. So always start with a large glass of water first and then assess whether you still need a snack, because usually you can bypass the snack craving by just having some water. And if you just find water boring, add a couple drops of oil. You can add a drop of peppermint and drop of wild orange. You can mix it up, and I think you'll find drinking water a lot more enjoyable. Okay, so let's dig into our BOGO box, because this was an awesome one. Okay, so if you got the BOGO box, which was our promotion a couple weeks ago for July's BOGO, and the idea of this was, instead of logging in every morning for 6 days and getting the BOGO, or I guess it was for 5 days, and getting a BOGO every day, you were able to just kind of be surprised. You had to just trust that you were going to like the oils that came in the BOGO box. You got to know what a few of them were, and then the rest of them were going to be a surprise to be unveiled as we went through. But you got the BOGO box on the first day, which meant you got all the savings and one shipment instead of having separate shipments. And I said it was a fantastic deal. I think it was like over $200 of free oils in this box. So it was awesome. So what we're going to do is talk through each of the oils that we got in our BOGO box. So the first one we got was Cheer. This is part of the emotional aromatherapy kit. This one is so lovely. It is like wild orange and cinnamon and nutmeg and vanilla bean and anise and lemon myrtle, and just this wonderful combination of citrus and cinnamon and ginger. It's yummy. This one can be really great. So it's bright and energetic, and you can use this to put, I do diffuse this one quite a bit, right? So you can diffuse this. Actually had a client send me a message today, and she's been diffusing Cheer with the Neoli, which was the free oil of the month in June. And that's a lovely one as well. So she's been mixing the two in the diffuser and seems to really love it. So But you can diffuse so many different ways. So not just in your diffuser, but you can do it in, say, dryer balls, right? So we can talk about how to put a couple drops of this in the last 5 seconds or 5 minutes of your dryer cycle and diffuse your clothes. Car vents. So if you want to take a wood clothes peg and put a couple drops of your favorite oil on it and stick it into the vent, in the air conditioning vent on your car, that will help work as a diffuser. You can soak some felt fabric balls in it and stash them around in drawers, and there's so many different ways to use. There's diffuser jewelry, so many different ways to use your oils as diffusers, but get creative. A really nice one to diffuse for the kids when they come home from school is that it's just, again, bright and cheery and uplifting. And one of the things I love about doTERRA too is the transparency. So around how things are sourced, where they're sourced from. And so when I talked about that purity and quality testing, there's an entire website dedicated to that, which is called Source to You. And you'll also see on there where our oils are sourced. So like I said, there's so many different oils in this particular blend of cheer. You get wild orange coming from Brazil, you get, and also from Greece. So one of the great things that doTERRA does too is they'll often source something from 2 places. And that is really about creating sustainability, right? doTERRA has a mission to get the oils into every home in the world, right? Because there is this value in having these natural sort of healthcare solutions. And in a time like this where your health is paramount, having these natural solutions at your disposal really is super, super critical. And so they want to make sure that they've got these sustainable options to be able to bring the purest essential oils to us. They don't want to cut corners, and they won't cut corners. And that is, again, where we get into trouble with buying other types of oils where companies might be forced to cut corners and that sort of thing. doTERRA will always just continue to try to find new places to source from. And if the sourcing is a challenge for whatever reason, weather conditions, you know, whatever that looks like, they just won't stock that particular oil for a while, right? Until the supply is up, rather than selling a subpar product. So that's not on the table. So, you know, I said ginger from Kenya, and the clove cinnamon from Madagascar, and like just so many different ways that they bring all like the harness, the plant superpowers from around the world into these tiny little bottles. And like, we're just so blessed to be able to have all of this at our disposal. So citronella. So I'm sure everybody's heard of a citronella candle. This is citronella, the pure plant form. And this one has a really fresh scent, and this one can be really great for cleaning too. So if you love the aroma of this, add it to your all-purpose cleaner, right? So we can use our On Guard all-purpose cleaning concentrate and add some extra citronella to it, which is lovely. Or you can just make it yourself with some vinegar, baking soda, some distilled water, and some drops of On Guard and citronella. Like, there's so many different ways to make your own cleaning products. One of the things that I love, so we have this cute little tea light, little floating candle. So I got a beeswax candle from the market today. Put it in a little bit of water, and then you add a few drops of your citronella to the water, and you're going to get that beautiful citronella aroma, which will be really lovely if you're sort of dining al fresco at night. So cool way to use, again, like citronella is a natural bug repellent. So if you want to diffuse this outside, and say you're sitting in a screened-in room or whatever, diffuse it in there and, you know, sort of help ward off the summer pests that we have. But yeah, I love that one. And citronella is sourced out of Indonesia. Okay, so deep blue. This is one of my faves, although I tend to use it more in the heat rub version, or the creamy version. So it also comes in a pre-done cream, like a tube, but being able to use this topically as well, with a little bit of your fractionated coconut oil for a massage, for a sore back, for neck muscle tension. This is a great one at the end of the day before bed. Put a couple drops in your hand and just like massage into your neck and your shoulders, and it feels amazing and it's so refreshing. The main oil in deep blue is wintergreen, so you're getting which is actually a natural anti-inflammatory. So you're getting like this cooling sensation. And then you're also getting the tansies. So there's some chamomile and blue tansy, also part of the chamomile family, that are really sort of calming and relaxing for the muscles. So a really awesome one to use. And when we look at the blue tansy, so that's in deep blue, we're sourcing that from Morocco. We're getting ylang ylang out of Madagascar, and the wintergreen from China. So again, sourcing these plants and these oils from their indigenous place of growth. Island mint. So this is a fun one. This is really meant to be a really fun diffuser blend. It's sort of lemon, lime, peppermint, and a little bit of spruce, so a little bit of woodsy. This one's great, again, for a car diffuser. I posted today a body scrub, so you can use some coconut oil, some Epsom salts, and then you add a little bit of your fractionated coconut oil and a few drops of your island mint, and you make a body scrub out of that. And the best time I find to apply a body scrub is just before you get into a bath. And so you take your Epsom salts, add your oils, your essential oils, and your coconut oil, scrub down your whole body, and then you hop into the bath and you rinse it off, and then you're going to get all of that lovely, you know, the benefits. You get all the magnesium into the Epsom salts, and you get all the benefit of your oils. You'll actually do an inhalation as well with the warmth of the water, and it really gets deep into your skin. So it's amazing. So check out that recipe on Insta today. All right, Melissa. Okay, this is one of the reasons that this BOGO box was such a great deal, because Melissa retails for $200 for this 5 ml bottle, and it came in the BOGO box. So Melissa's one of those oils. If you are keen and you're looking at the history of essential oil use, and I said it's been used for 5,000 years, you know, in the sort of Eastern cultures, right? So the Indian and Chinese cultures, they've been using essential oils for thousands of years. And certainly Melissa is one of those, also known as lemon balm. So maybe you've heard of that term over Melissa, but Melissa is a powerhouse. Taken internally, a couple drops under the tongue, really supportive that way as well. Is great topically for your skin, so you can add a couple drops to your favorite moisturizer, and really, you know, really beautiful for skin. So and Melissa is sourced from Bulgaria, similar to the rose oil that doTERRA has, which is also from Bulgaria. Okay, past tense. Love this one. So wintergreen, peppermint, frankincense, cilantro, marjoram, Roman chamomile, basil, and rosemary. So I think I pretty much listed all of the spice oils in there. And then a little bit of wintergreen and peppermint. So this one is really great. And this is really meant for head and neck tension. So you, again, roll it in behind the ears, the back of the neck. You can put a little bit on your temples. Always be careful, because I love to use peppermint and past tense for any sort of head tension, but you really want to make sure you're getting it high up into the temple, because of the wintergreen and the peppermint, you are going to start to cry because you're going to feel that the vapor, right? The methyl in those, and it'll start to, it's like peeling an onion or kind of thing, right? So try to keep it back far enough on your temples that doesn't become a problem. Anyways, works amazing for head tension, anyone who suffers from headaches on a continual basis. And I said, I just love this one. You know, again, at the end of the day, just to kind of like, you know, take off the computer neck that you might have, and do a nice release. And also, I guess I should mention too, if you're new and watching, this is a roller ball, which means we've basically taken the oils from here, pre-diluted them with the fractionated coconut oil in this super convenient little roller ball, and then it just goes on nicely. So instead of having to have your fractionated coconut oil and getting your hands all messy, you just roll it on. And those ones are great for travel. So I always have a bunch of these in my purse and in my travel bag for on the go. All right, so Purify was the next oil that we got in our BOGO box. And this one's tea tree, lime, Siberian fir, citronella, and cilantro. So this is a really unique aroma, and maybe not my favorite aroma, but if you mix this and add a couple drops of, say, wild orange to it, it actually is just such a powerhouse for cleaning, right? So you diffuse, purify. If you have, you know, a particularly smelly situation, this one makes a really great all-purpose spray for, like, say, hockey gear and stinky shoes and that sort of thing. So you would literally take a spray bottle with some water and a bunch of drops, maybe 15, 20 drops of the Purify, and just spritz everything down, and that'll really combat the stink, really. And all that stink is bacteria, right? So all you're trying to do is add something that's antibacterial to it to kill the stink. So Purify is awesome for that. Also really great as a pre-soak for, say, sweaty laundry again, so gym equipment or gym clothes and things like that. You could put, again, a little tub of water, a few drops of the Purify, and just let the clothes soak for a little bit before you actually throw them in the laundry. So that's a great one. Roman chamomile. So this one has, like, kind of a sweet appley smell, and again, part of the chamomile family, just like the blue tansy was. Again, really just calming, right? So I think a lot of people are familiar with sort of chamomile tea, which is, you know, meant to be really calming. It's also used a lot in traditional sort of perfumes and fragrances, again, just because this is a lovely aroma, and really soothing on the skin. So you'll find most of the oils that can be really calming from a mood perspective, so like your lavender, your chamomile, they also are very calming on the skin. So you can use this one, again, topically if you've got any sort of irritation. Add a couple drops to, again, your favorite moisturizer, and be really soothing for the skin. Again, just even, you know, if you've brushed up against something, some random bush or tree that created a little bit of an irritation or a rash or a breakout on your skin, again, apply a little bit of your fractionated coconut oil with some chamomile, again, or lavender, frankincense, and just apply that topically, and it'll really help calm the inflammation. Roman chamomile could also be great in the tub, again, from its rest and restoring sort of properties, right? Tea tree. Okay, I think this is most commonly referred to as melaleuca for us, and tea tree as well, as I think is the one that most people know it as. Tea tree is, again, really cleansing. So this is a really antibacterial one you can use for all sorts of all-purpose cleaners, again, for purifying smelly stuff. So again, you can use this interchangeably with the Purify blend. I actually like to use this one to soak our toothbrushes. So maybe once a month, I'll take a hot cup of water with a few drops of tea tree in it and stick the toothbrushes in it and let it sit there for a few minutes and kind of rinse it out. And then you do a really good rinse, because it doesn't taste awesome. So you want to make sure that you've rinsed it off your toothbrush. Similarly for, say, makeup brushes, because again, you're trying to keep the bacteria from growing on your makeup brushes. So you'll do a nice cleanse using the tea tree oil. And I've got a couple recipes for that stuff posted as well. What's interesting, again, when we talk about the sort of some of the science behind the oils, tea tree has over 92 different chemical constituents in its makeup, right? In its applications, you know, so then the applications are endless, right? There's so many different ways we can use it because you're really harnessing so many different aspects of that plant. And of course, tea tree comes from Australia and Kenya, and again, about the sustainability of it, right? So again, sourcing from not just one place, but sourcing from a couple places. Turmeric, this one, I think most people have heard in one way, shape, or another that turmeric is really great for you. Strong anti-inflammatory, so really great for muscles and joints. Taken internally, really supportive for your system. Again, you can use this in a capsule. It actually comes in a capsule form. So I always have these. I take these, which are actually super cool. And one of the benefits about this capsule is actually you get, if you can see, it's got both the curcumin and the turmerones in it. So it's both the benefits of both parts of the turmeric, which sometimes, and you know, a lot of the over-counter sort of supplements will give you kind of only one part of the turmeric, where that capsule has both. So if you're really looking for support from turmeric, that's the way to go. Again, you would have to consume a lot of turmeric powder to punch what you're going to get from essential oils because of the concentration. So it's a much simpler way to get it than to consume a ton of turmeric or a ton of turmeric or curry. Anyways, this is a really great one. Again, I said for any sort of joint and muscle pain. It's also really great for cooking. And so again, we can use our oils internally. And so we can put our citrus into different things. I posted a recipe for like a veggie or a fruit dip, which is just some yogurt, honey, and a couple drops of your favorite citrus. I like wild orange for the fruit dip. And you can similarly use turmeric in curry and stew and soups. And the trick with the oils though, again, because they're so concentrated, you're going to use probably 1 drop in a pot of soup, right? Like this is not something where you just want to keep shaking. You'd add a drop, give it a stir, do a taste test, and then if you wanted more, you can add more. But you really need to, be mindful that it's super concentrated, so you're not going to need much. And again, if we look at the history of essential oil use, turmeric is one of those ones that's been used in the Chinese culture, in Ayurvedic medicine for, 4,000 years, say. And the sourcing is Nepal and India. Okay, yellow mandarin. So, little guy here, part of the citrus family, obviously. And what's interesting is we have a green mandarin, a yellow mandarin, and a red mandarin essential oil. They all come from the exact same fruit, but at different parts of the sort of ripening process, right? And the green mandarin is probably one of my favorites, and it comes from the unripe fruit, where the red mandarin comes from it when it's sort of fully ripe, and the yellow comes when it's partially ripe. So really a great way, again, from a sustainability perspective, to use all the fruit. So what was happening was that you were getting these mandarins that would fall off the tree prematurely and they'd be waste, or the ones at the end of the harvest that were sort of overripe and then they would be waste. So instead of having a waste, you look at the chemical constituents of that fruit, which actually does change through that ripening process. And so you're going to get different benefits from them. I just love the green mandarin in water, is delicious. So it's really great that also we're using all of the fruit and none of it's going to waste. Yeah, so they all have a slightly different aroma and a slightly different chemical profile. This one is actually really great too. So the yellow mandarin, again, for skin cleanser, so you can add it to whatever toner you use. It's really great for uplifting. All the citrus are really great for a mood boosting properties. And you can also do, way to have a portable diffuser is put a couple drops on your hand, rub it together, and then rub it in the ends of your hair. I always get accused of being a walking diffuser, so people go to give me a hug and they're like, oh, you smell so good. But it's like 1,000 different oils going on, so I don't know which one they're actually referring to, but that's a great way. So just a little bit of rub on the end of your hair and you've got a walking diffuser. The mandarins coming out of Brazil. One of the things I will say about citrus oils is they are photosensitive, so make you sort of more susceptible to burning in the direct sunlight. And so you'll not want to use a whole bunch of citrus oil on your skin, say as a perfume, and then head out in the sun. Green mandarin, actually, again, different in chemical constituents, actually isn't photosensitive. So most of the citrus are, green mandarin is not. So if you do want to use your citrus as a perfume, go green mandarin. All right, so resources. I know that I've covered a lot. Certainly there is a BOGO book this year, which was fantastic. So that was part of your BOGO kit. So if you ordered the BOGO kit, you should have got the BOGO book, but I'm going to send it out via email again in case. So if you're on my mail group, you'll get it. If you're not on my mail group, send me a message and I will make sure to add you, and I'll share the BOGO book with you, which will give you all the stuff we covered tonight about our BOGO oils. So there's that. You have my Insta feed, which is going to give you all kinds of tips and tricks for being able to use your oils. One of my favorite tools is the app. So it's the Modern Essentials app. and you can download it off the App Store, super easy. And when you get in there, it will give you what to do with a certain oil, or if you've got a condition and you need to know which oils to use, you can punch that in and it's going to give you some recipes and some ways to use which oils, whether that be internally, topically, aromatically, whatever, for whatever you're dealing with. But you can always send me an email and ask me questions, because that's what I'm here for. So there's lots of ways to also to get our oils. So I know a lot of you are in it and you've got your BOGO box, and we're you know, super excited that you know, doTERRA puts these amazing deals on for us a couple times a year. There will be another one probably November, I think, is that's generally the timing. But you know, when you have your doTERRA account, you're getting 25% off the retail price. So when I said this, you know, Melissa retails for $200, that's the retail price. Wholesale is $155. But of course, if you get in on a deal like a BOGO box, you got it for free. So many different ways to save on our oils. And again, I said, because they're so multifaceted, they really are, you know, exceptional value for what they bring. The other ways to get your oils even cheaper is to do a loyalty rewards program, which basically means you purchase every month, and you don't have to purchase you know, a certain amount every month. Generally, you have to purchase a base 1 PV, which will just sort of keep your credits going, which means you could buy a chapstick 1 month, or one oil 1 month. It's not a large amount, and you can change your order every month. So 1 month you might buy laundry soap, the next month you might buy some oils, the next month you'll buy your supplements, because doTERRA makes the best supplements ever. So there's so many different things that you can get, and every month, you know, change out your cart. At that rate, you start to earn additional points. So now, instead of being 25% off, you can earn up to 55% off your oils, and you'll also be earning points back to get free product the next month. You also then, if you're placing a certain amount every month, you'll start to get a free oil of the month. So I talked about Naoli being the free product of the month in June. So when you spent 125 point value, you got a free Naoli. So there's so many different ways to get your oils inexpensively, and, you know, really great deals. You can also share oils with your friends and family, and then you get extra perks as well, doing that, extra points, and being able to really share the value of our oils and sharing health and wellness with those you love. So it's a win-win-win all the way around. All right, so upcoming classes. Tonight we just covered, so BOGO box for today, but we are going to do an essential oil basic class next Tuesday night, same time, same place. So if you know anybody who is new to the oil community or looking to get into it, have them hop into that class, because that'll be a great, you know, 101 on all the basics. Then on the 18th, we're going to do a back to school shout out for whatever back to school looks like, but getting the kids prepared for back to school. And then on the 25th, we're going to do energy and emotions. So those are our lineups for August. And yeah, so I hope everybody's having an amazing summer. I'm certainly trying to get the most out of the summer months and getting some rest and relaxation. So I'm currently on vacation from work, and but never want to skip out on my oil community and being able to create value and catch up with everybody here. So I am gonna go hop out and play some games, because I can hear that my family has got some board games up and running, and so I'm gonna head out and go play with them. But anyways, have an awesome night, everybody, and enjoy your BOGO box, and shoot me any questions that you might have. Talk to you soon. Bye.